Search 6.0 not that new, but quite improved. Shay Bannon has been called a person who has written more code than what is humanly possible. This has led him from working on a solution for search in his spare time to building an open-source framework and a global company around that with clients such as eBay and Verizon. Elasticsearch has come a long way, and Elastic is about a lot more than search. Today Elastic is announcing version 6.0 of what is now an entire stack built around the core premise of search, and Bannon, as the recently appointed CEO, discussed with ZDNet the past, present, and future of Elasticsearch and the trends shaping the industry. Our conversation did not start with the new features of version 6.0. If you are part of the Elastic community, you may already know them. If not, you may not get very impressed at first sight. This is interesting in and by itself, but we thought it would be a good idea to shed some light on what Elasticsearch can and cannot do before embarking on a detailed discussion on new features. When Bannon started working on Elasticsearch, it was all about storing JSON and having a powerful search language. That was 8 years ago, and as he notes, NoSQL was all the rage. To me, Elasticsearch was something I was passionate about, so I did not want to be part of any hype cycle. That would be shifting the focus from the value Elasticsearch can bring as a very powerful search solution. People have been asking, can I replace my MongoDB or my Oracle database with Elasticsearch? Can it work as a system of record? My answer has always been, if you place Elasticsearch next to any of these systems, be it Cassandra or Hadoop or whatever, it will bring value. It has this angle of how to solve challenges under a search prism that no other system has. But our goal is not to replace these systems. This system of record discussion has been an ongoing one regarding Elasticsearch. In previous versions there has been work in the context of the Jepsen project that revealed conditions under which data loss in Elasticsearch may occur. Even today, Kyle Kingsbury, Jepsen's mastermind, says I would not use this as a system of record, so you would put your data in S3 or Postgres and have a replication tool so that it reiterates the data. Not every database is entirely reliable. In fact, most are not. Elasticsearch is not even a database in the strict sense, so it should not be used or judged as one. Image, Jepsen. Kyle Kingsbury. Bannon seems to agree with that in his way. He acknowledges Kingsbury's contribution in pointing out deficiencies in Elasticsearch sharding, and says they have worked with him in trying to address them, and this work has made lots of progress and is openly documented. And if someone wants to use Elasticsearch as a core system to store financial transactions on, Bannon would not advise them to do this. In the end, Bannon concedes, Elasticsearch has not been around for as long as the oracles of the world have, and this means it's by definition less mature. Of course, as he notes, if your data on Elasticsearch gets lost or corrupted, this makes for a bad user experience, so they are working on resilience. For Bannon, however, resilience is not all about distributed algorithms and sharding, but also about things such as stability and memory footprint. If you end up writing to a system that causes your runtime to pause, it's indistinguishable from a network partition. We have invested heavily in this area, and there are many improvements in 6.0. One such improvement Bannon highlights is based on something called sequence IDs. It's the ability to have consensus on the sequence of operations between a primary and a replica shard. Bannon says this greatly improves the ability to maintain coherency between data and helps address a gap Elasticsearch has had historically. Another area that Bannon highlights is what he calls circuit breakers. This is about improving detection of requests that end up consuming lots of resources so they can be isolated without bringing down a cluster. He says a lot of work has gone in the ability to track and stop queries when needed, as well as working with Java off-heap memory techniques and structures. As a result, memory footprint today is much smaller than it used to be. Many other improvements are in that category as well, things that require expert knowledge not just to implement, but also to comprehend and evaluate the impact of. Things like index sorting or sparse field storage, which end up trading a few milliseconds of query response time for what Bannon says amounts to between 30% and 70% of savings in storage space. Index sorting is a new feature in Elasticsearch 6.0. It takes some engineering skills and a long blog post to get it, but the end result is better performance. Image, Elasticsearch. In the end, if you don't spend the time to dig into these new features, there's a good chance you may remain